welcome everybody. It's Tom, and this is FANzine Live. Today is our Phoenix Spotlight. A bit of a unique one that I don't make a big deal out of, but it's the next up in our chronological list of Phoenix books that have been released, and so we're going to talk about it. It is the Heroes Now Patriot Commentary Edition. Slightly larger in size than the comic book size edition. It's more of a full magazine size. And the reason I put this together, to give you some background, is that my initial circulation of the Patriot story, I was looking for maybe like some creator commentary and some endorsements and that type of stuff. So I sent out some previews in advance, and the response I got was entirely different than the interpretation of what I wrote was entirely different than what I intended. And after you put together a 30 plus page comic book, you can't go back and rewrite the comic. I mean, Tony Lorenz put hours into this book, and he did a terrific job. He did exactly what I wanted, but the interpretation was off. And so what I thought I would do instead was, and this is more just to satisfy my need to, if you will, tell my story, is I created this commentary edition. And the gist of it is that every page of the comic exists at the exact same size as the normal comic book. However, as you can see, I have liner notes on every page explaining what's going on. And so we've got it all right here. Some opening to discuss the book. I put in a wonderful reproduction of Tony Lorenz's first Patriot sketch on the inside front cover. This book, I believe, was printed by Comics Wellspring. So it is not the Amazon paperback book binding. This is the traditional saddle stitch staple binding. They did a really nice job. Comics Wellspring is fantastic, and if I could figure out a way to ship overseas cheaper, I would use this, but instead the savings that I make off of Amazon more than justify. So anyway, the point of the book was to try to explain what's going on and what this book is about. And so I did an introduction here. Very simple graphic design. I thought we'll stick with the star design throughout. And we just start telling the story. And everything that we've got going on the page is described down in the liners. And so, for example, I'm talking here about, I had some opening thoughts preceding the script. Actually, I'll go up to the top on this page. We'll just review this one in general, just so you can get a sense of what we did. And then if you are interested, you can take a look later. It says, when I was writing this script, I was knee-deep in Tom King's Strange Adventures miniseries for DC Comics. Having been out of comics for over 30 years, the simplicity of the 3-panel page with the cinematic stylings entranced me. And I was shaking tons of rust off with my writing, so such a formalistic approach was something I could wrap my brain around when constructing the script. So you can see we've got 1, 2, 3 panels all in that cinematic styling. My opening thoughts preceding the script followed along. And this is all in quotes. I was thinking of using a 3-panel page with a cinematic look, a la what Gerards and Shaner are doing in Tom King's Strange Adventures. You're welcome to go in whatever direction you think the story needs, but I'm scripting this in 3-panel pages with full page splashes periodically. Then I say later, Tony was really smart in how he used the 3-panel page. He used it for the more sedate conversation scenes, then turned it loose with the action. But about the page, we're getting into the question, or what we're getting into is why Marty is here. Question. Is it a hearing related to pre-release counseling? Oh, he's at a halfway house. And the Teresa Tony power dynamic. Teresa being the counselor that it's not Tony, it's Marty. That's my typo. Teresa is a no BS type of counselor, and being a halfway house counselor means she probably has had her share of tough cases. I wanted to use this opening dialogue to build out her bona fides and establish a level of authority that Marty might not like, but is compelled by the judge to respect. I particularly enjoyed how Teresa instructs Marty to call her by her first name, only to have Marty refer to her as ma'am twice within the same page. Is Marty being differential? Is he being a jackass? Or perhaps a little bit of both? So you can see I try to get deeper into how the story is told. And it just goes on and on. The scouting thing, I said I had to construct a scenario in which Marty could meet Patriot. My background as a Boy Scouts of America leader led me to use the National Jamboree-inspired setting. Note that I didn't want to use any BSA logos or marks. Don't want to get on their bad side. So you can see I've got that there. And then talking about the different scenes with the different dates and locations, I try to point those out. And those are all pretty much exact scenes. This was a picture that, the picture in panel 1 is directly taken from a photo the night that the wall fell. Kudos to Tony for rendering it so faithfully all the way down to the graffiti. So you can see we had a lot of fun with that. So yeah, that's the basics of the commentary edition. Every single page has a little bit of description as to what's going on the page and explaining where I'm coming from. Then what I thought would be interesting, and this is the conclusion, which has its own sidebar. Then what I thought would be fun is to do process. And Tony was so generous, I think the right word is, in keeping me up to date on his progress in making this massive book, that he sent me pictures of layouts, of pencils, of inks, and then of the tones. And so what I thought would be neat is to take a page and kind of go all the way from start to finish. And so I took page 7. I believe that is page 7. So it's the scout page winding up at the Department of State and with his mother. So we have the script. And I discussed the script off to the side. We also have the layout page, so you can see how he makes his book or makes his art, talking about how he used the Strathmore board, and I had to ask him to change the logo, so he did that. Then you can see we went from the rougher layouts to the tighter finished pencils, which are darn close to inking quality. You can see he inked in the boxes, the panel boxes. Then we went to inks, and then we threw on the lettering in the finished page. So that's kind of cool. I did it again with page 27. You can see layout, finished pencils, inks, and then lettering and finished page. So you can see how the page evolves from a story to art to final presentation. Really cool. Then the other part I did was the front cover. Larry Johnson was kind enough to do this front cover, and I think it looks spectacular. But the process in getting there was really almost comical, because I had no idea what I wanted. And so I wanted everything, but I wanted nothing at all at the same time, such as Larry responding back. And this is actually a Facebook Messenger, I believe, dialogue that we had. And I show what I wrote and what Larry wrote. And you can see at one point, Larry said, "Holy mackerel, you know, we're talking about just one illustration here." So, I mean, he just really, he put it all out. But he did a couple concepts. And so you can see the unused concept here, but you can see also the concept that we ended up going with. He did another rough of the cover and then the final cover. I talk a little bit about the text and how I wanted the text to look like the old recruiting posters. So, yeah. Patriot Commentary Edition. It's pretty neat. If you are interested in the Patriot story and want to learn a little more about it, it's a really neat window into the whole story. The book is still available in paper format. You can get that from me. $10 postage paid. We can work that out. So you can send me a message and let me know if you want it, because I've got a few copies here on the shelf. I did not make this for Amazon. I did not reprint this one for Amazon. So I only have the copies on the shelf. And once they're gone, they're gone. I don't anticipate reprinting this. But we also do have the commentary edition available at the Gumroad digital store. So you can get a PDF of this, and that's available for a lower price than the $10. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing this time and learning a little bit about Patriot and how it came to be. Catch you next time.